All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been creating a series of video presentations based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I'm in the JavaScript portion, and we're going to get into asynchronous JavaScript. All right, and again, just so you know, I've gone through the entire getting started with the web. I've done the entire HTML series, that being the introduction to HTML, the multimedia and embedding, the HTML tables. I've done the entire CSS section, which means CSS first steps, CSS building blocks, styling text, and CSS layouts. And now I'm into the JavaScript. I've done the first steps. I've done the building blocks. I've done the introducing JavaScript objects. So what's left in this section is asynchronous JavaScript and client-side APIs. Now, we're right now looking at the overview of asynchronous JavaScript. And as it says, we look at what it is, why it's important, how it can be used to effectively handle blocking operations, such as fetching resources from the server. One of the big things that we're going to discuss in here is when you, as a programmer, give up control in your program. Case in point, or an example, if you are making a call to a web API that maybe has to make a call out to a database, all right, you want to make sure that if this is going to take a bit of time, that your program is basically not stuck waiting for some kind of a result. All right. So as they mentioned, yeah, asynchronous JavaScript, I would say, is an advanced topic. And we've gone through the JavaScript first steps, and we've gone through the building blocks, so we should be good. All right, it says if you're not familiar, you should definitely start with the general asynchronous programming concepts, which is what we'll get into next. If you are, it says you could probably skip to the introducing. Well, we're going to go through all of them. So this particular section consists of the following 6 different sections. General asynchronous programming concepts. As it says, it's an overview where they will run through some of the concepts related to asynchronous programming and how it works basically with JavaScript. From there, we go to introducing asynchronous JavaScript. As it says, they start by briefly recapping problems associated with synchronous JavaScript, and then take a first look at some of the different asynchronous techniques. From there, it's cooperative asynchronous JavaScripts, timeouts, and arrivals. As it says, they look at traditional methods JavaScript has available for running code asynchronously after a set period of time or at a regular interval. From there, it's handling async operations gracefully with promises. Promises, as mentioned there, are a fairly new JavaScript feature that allows you to defer processing until something has completed or not completed. As it says, this is useful for setting up a sequence of operations to work correctly. From there, it's making asynchronous programming easier with async and await. Notice it says that async allows standard operations to implicitly behave asynchronously with promises, whereas await can be used inside async to wait for promises before a function continues. Finally, what the authors will go into in here is they will talk about the fact that there are at least 3 different ways of doing this, and which one should you use. As always, with a lot of the stuff, it depends. This is pretty good. I've gone through this book before. It's actually a free book. This thing on asynchronous programming, I think, is pretty well written. Okay, so with that said, that's pretty much it for this section. So I'm going to jump right into general asynchronous programming concepts, and I'll be back with that shortly.